listening to the Terrific Teacherpreneur, a podcast for teachers looking to grow a successful online business. Your host, Alex, was able to transform her Teachers Pay Teachers store from a small side hustle into a profitable full-time business. She now helps other teachers do the same. Listen along for actionable tips and helpful wisdom about business and marketing as a teacherpreneur. Here's your host, Alex.
Hello and welcome to the Terrific Teacherpreneur podcast. I'm your host, Alex, and this week's episode comes to you from the floor of my walk-in wardrobe, where I am sort of huddled up trying to quickly record this episode while Lily naps. We'll see how we go. Hopefully I don't get interrupted. I'm going to try and keep this episode nice and brief. Basically, it's kind of inspired by Lily. I want to share 15 business lessons that I've learned from having a newborn. So being a first-time parent has taught me a lot. And when I think about some of the struggles and the hard times and the things I've learned, they actually apply really well to business. And there's some really good takeaways here for running a TPT store. So can't ramble on too much longer. I've got to dive straight in. Number one, perseverance and daily consistency is key to success. I found this with Lily. We were doing a lot of bottle practice every single day in order to get her to take a bottle. And it's something that we had to do daily, every single day, really consistently on a frequent basis. You know, you can't just kind of do it once a week. And that applies to the TPT world and business and marketing and everything you do. You've got to be consistent and you've got to persevere. You know, it's like if you give up too soon or you don't do things very consistently, then you're not really going to see success. So pretty obvious one, but yeah, definitely true when it comes to bottle practice. Number two, prioritize the profit-making tasks if you're short on time. Lily has been for quite a few weeks now in her cat napping stage, or crap napping as I like to call it. So she naps for a tiny amount of time, hence why I don't get much done in the business. And so it's taught me that I need to prioritize the profit-making stuff when I do have time, because these nap times are super short. You might not have kids, you might not have to worry about, having short nap times, but you might be a full-time teacher or whatever, and you get these tiny pockets of time to work on your business. And if you blow that, scrolling through Instagram, like making one graphic, choosing bits of clip art, like oohing and ahhing over things, making to-do lists and never actually get anything done, like what a waste of that little pocket of time. So you have to prioritize the things that are going to really generate profit. And in the little pockets of time I've had to work on my business, I have jumped straight to things like product creation and SEO, like tweaking titles on my resources, to help them rank better. And then things such like other optimization, if I could, adjust a cover or a thumbnail or throw together a quick bundle, all things that I know will actually make me money. So those are, really profitable tasks. If you're short on time, go for the important stuff that's going to make you money. Okay, lesson number 3 from having a newborn. It feels impossible at first, but it does get easier. There's honestly too many things to list when it comes to parenting that are impossible at first. Breastfeeding was hard, sleep deprivation is hard, having your child not scream in a car seat, all of that stuff is hard. It feels like really, really difficult in the early days, and then it does really, really gradually get easier. And what does that remind you of? Hello, being a TPT seller, your first year on TPT is just like a dumpster fire of stress and exhaustion and burnout and frustration. And then somewhere along the way, you don't know when, it doesn't happen overnight, it just gradually starts to get more manageable. You get better at working on PowerPoint and making products. Your sales start to increase and you feel less frustrated, and it just gets gradually easier over time. So yeah, not that dissimilar to a newborn. Number 4, obsessing over your sales isn't healthy. Now, when it comes to parenting, the thing that I have been obsessing over is sleep. I obsess over Lily's sleep all the time. Is she getting enough sleep? Should I be sleep training her? This, that, naps, blah, blah, blah. It's all I think about, and it's very toxic. And the stuff on TPT that's kind of toxic, in my opinion, is the way we obsess over money and our earnings. We can be looking at that dashboard and checking our app every single minute of every single day, fixating on how much money we're making. And it can get really, like I said, toxic, but also just really depressing. You worry that you're not making enough money. You wish you could make more money. And in that time, you really should be working on your store in order to make money. Stop thinking about earning money and start actually earning money. So yeah, move away from that obsessive behavior that isn't, helpful and healthy to you, and move towards the more impactful tasks that will actually fix the issue. Okay, so that was number 4. Number 5, lessons learned from having a newborn that apply to the TPT world. Have a backup plan and be prepared. So in terms of the whole newborn thing, I have a spit up happy chucker baby who just spits up on literally everything all day long. Me, her clothes. She goes through more outfits than a Taylor Swift concert. It's insane. My mum bought her so many clothes. I thought, this kid is never going to be able to wear all these baby clothes. But no, she gets through them all right. So, I go out the house, I have to be prepared. I have to bring spare clothes. And so in the business world, this is important too. You have to have a backup plan and you have to be prepared when things aren't going to go well. And that could apply to anything in terms of TPT. There's so many areas. But for me, with the things that have been going on with TPT, like the algorithm changes and stuff, it made me realize that having my own website, where I have my own WooCommerce store now that I've just set up, makes me feel like I have a backup plan for when things aren't great on TPT. If there's an algorithm change or something happens, you don't feel like all of your eggs are in one basket, and that's, a scary thing. So having a backup plan is good. No, it doesn't have to be your own website. You could sell on other platforms. You could have another side hustle, or maybe you just have a savings account and you're not reliant on TPT. You just don't want to put yourself in that precarious position. So don't be the person with spit up all over you when you're out in public. In the business world, the equivalent is don't be the one that's overly reliant on TPT and doesn't have a backup plan. Okay, the next lesson, this is a quick one. Teamwork is everything. I don't know how I would have coped during this newborn phase without Dale. He has been a rock. And when it comes to the business world, I think teamwork is super important too. Whether you're collaborating with other sellers for an Instagram giveaway or something, or maybe you're just in a Facebook group getting support from other sellers, working with other people, learning from other people. The other thing that comes to mind is a mastermind. I think those are really great as well, and I've done an episode on that. But if you're in this alone, you're going to just find it really, really hard. Being a solo parent, that's hard. And so having a team, having that support network is really important. Find people to help you in your journey. Next up, track your data or data, however you prefer to call it. So for me, I've been using the Huckleberry app as a new parent, and I track all of Lily's sleep and stuff. It's a bit toxic, I'm not going to lie, obsessing about it like I mentioned earlier. But in the business world, tracking your data is definitely a good thing. You really, really want to be doing that. So you don't want to be doing it in that way I mentioned earlier, the toxic way where you obsess over your earnings every day and you log on to TPT and go to the dashboard or go to your app and you're like, how much did I earn today? That's not really looking at data. That's just a bad habit of obsessing about your daily earnings, and you can't control that. Looking at data is diving into your product statistics and your dashboard and your sales report, maybe once a month or every couple of weeks, and actually learning from it and then implementing changes. So saying, oh, okay, I'm realizing that this preview isn't converting, or I'm not getting views on this product. I need to make an SEO change. I need to change this cover. Making changes in your business based on the information you have. It applies also to marketing. Whether you're looking at your social media or Pinterest analytics or your email open rates, look at the numbers. What are they telling you? Make changes. That's really, really powerful. And, I've been doing that as a new parent, looking at this app and saying, oh, she seems to always have a nap at 9 o'clock. So why am I, forcing her to nap at 8:30 or leaving it till 10:30? The data tells me she sleeps at 9. So tracking your data is everything. So that was number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So tip number 8, we're about halfway through. You can learn so much from courses. Now, this is, I swear, is not a plug for the fact that I sell courses. This is just, I realize in this whole new parenting thing that when you don't know what you're doing, it's makes it so much harder. And so I've spent, the last couple of months Googling every single thing about babies, and I never feel satisfied. It's honestly like being hungry but never actually getting to eat. You Google something and there's 10,000 different blog posts or articles or opinions. You're following influencers or people on TikTok and Instagram, and they all give differing opinions. And at the end of it, after spending hours and hours down the rabbit hole of Googling things, you don't feel like you have an answer. And that's what I felt like as a parent. Every time I've Googled something, I never quite know. But I actually ended up taking a course for helping with sleep, because I said I was struggling with Lily's sleep. And it was amazing. Within the first day, I swear that course paid for itself, because I was here she was sleeping in a bassinet on her own or whatever it was at the time. And I was like, how is this? This reminds me so much of running a TPT business. I'm always saying invest in your business. And most people do take courses and find that if they actually finish it and implement it, that it's a life changer. And it pays for itself 10,000 times over, because a few years down the track, they've got this really profitable business and they've made the cost of that course back, 100 times. So just, you don't have to, I promise you don't have to take courses if you physically cannot afford it or are not in a position to, whether you're a parent or a business owner. But if you have the finances in which you can pay for a course or somehow invest or set aside money to do so, don't let other kind of things hold you back. Sometimes we can be a bit like stingy with money. I remember when I first started my business, I was like, I didn't really want to spend money on my store. I had these like money blocks, these mindset blocks, and that was really bad for me. I mean, I really got over that, and it's been amazing. A lot of the courses I've taken in my business have just been like a game changer. So yeah, if you can't afford it, that's okay. But if you can, don't let all those other kind of things hold you back, those mindset blocks, because courses are amazing. You just want to be able to like learn things in one place and just have all these like tutorials and step-by-step programs, so you're not Googling things all the time. And yeah, it applies to both parenting and business, I find. Okay, next one. Your business will grow over time. It just takes a while. And, I've been talking a lot about Lily and her sleep and stuff. When you have a newborn, they sleep for like 2 hours and then you have to feed them, and it just goes on and on all night. And then as the weeks would go by, you should sleep for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours. It would just, these stretches would get bigger and bigger. And it was really nice. It was gradual, but it was, in the end, she would sleep longer. It's pretty cool. And your business is the same. It starts off really hard, like I mentioned earlier, like a hot mess. But over time, it will grow. I promise. I've never really heard of a story of someone saying that they earned $1,000 in their first month of TPT, and then 3 years later they're down to earning $10 a month. Like, I just never hear those kind of things. It's always the other way around. You start off small, earning $50 a month, $100 a month, $5 a month, whatever. And as the years go by, your earnings increase and increase, and your business grows. So it will happen. I promise. You just have to be as patient as you can. We're all on this journey. We all start somewhere. We all start at the beginning, and we all start, on Struggle Street, real slow, with small earnings, and it gradually grows over time. It does get better, I promise. This flows well into the next one. There will be ups and downs. So enjoy the ups and appreciate them. Parenting is really, really hard. If you're a parent, you'll know that. There are some really hard times where you just, you're in tears and you're just beside yourself. She's crying, I'm crying, everyone's crying. But then there are those ups, where like Lily smiles or laughs, or she just looks really cute. And it's worth it. Those good times make the bad times definitely more bearable. And TPT is very much the same. There will be downs. There'll be times during the summer months where your earnings are dismal, or you get bad feedback on a product, or, somehow a buyer upsets you, or you have some kind of drama on social media with another seller, or this kind of toxic thing happens. Like, there's always downs and there's always horrible moments. Maybe your sales kind of drop, things aren't going great, you're struggling with a marketing platform. There will be horrible times, I promise. Everybody goes through them, but there'll be great times too. And it's so important to take the time to appreciate them. When you do make a sale, or sell a bundle, or sell an expensive product, or sell a new product for the first time, take a moment to celebrate that. Someone joins your email list, someone follows you on Instagram. Like, it doesn't have to be big stuff, just those little things. Smile, take a second to be like, yay, appreciate it, because otherwise you'll just be miserable the whole time you run a business. You've got to enjoy those good times. All right, so that was I should have numbered these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, we're down to the last 5 tips. Quality is truly best when it comes to product creation and things like clip art. For this tip, I just couldn't choose between the two. I think quality over quantity is always really important when it comes to products. I'm always saying you want quality products in your store, but also quality applies to clip art 100%. When you first start on TPT and you get all that like free stuff, and it just makes your products look really bad, and that leads to the whole poor quality product thing I just mentioned. So you want to invest in good quality clip art, and you want to invest time into good quality products. And the reason that this lesson is fresh in the mind for me is because you get what you pay for as a parent sometimes too. And when I ran out of Huggies nappies and or you guys in America, what do you guys call them? Diapers. When I ran out of nappies, I went and got like the cheap Audi ones, and 3 poo namis later, I realized that quality is so much more important than saving a few bucks on nappies. So same thing happened with things like clothes. I would go to like Kmart or like Target and get like a really, really cheap onesie, and it would get all stretched and horrible in the wash. And I was like, yeah, sometimes you just got to pay for quality. It's worth it. So buy that expensive piece of clip art. Trust me, it will make your product look amazing. You will make the money back in your sales. It will be worth it. And then clip art stuff aside, just make amazing products. Prioritize your time there, because you will never be a TPT millionaire if you don't have quality products. That's a real harsh truth for you. So quality is always important. All right, next one. If you don't try it, it will never happen. And when it comes to parenting, there are a lot of things you have to try again to get right. Lily's really fussy about things. Like, she doesn't like being held in the cradle position. She didn't really like our rocking chair. When we first put her down on her little play mat thing, the Fisher-Price one, she just howled. Sleeping in the pram, like all of these things, when you first try them with babies, they tend to just not like it. And then as you do it over time, it does eventually get easier. But if you never try it, then it was never going to happen. So you have to try it that first time. And business is the same. You think, I'm scared to start an email list. That's like a big, scary thing. I don't know if I want to do it. But if you never try, if you never start an email list, you're never going to know if it's going to work for you. You're never going to experience the growth and the sales and the exciting things that come from that because you're just too scared to dive in. So sometimes you've got to take that leap and try something, because if you don't try it, you're never going to see that success. Okay, number 13, make the hard choices now so you have success and freedom later. I've been talking a lot about sleep. I think, like I said, is the thing I obsess about. But in terms of parenting, working on getting Lily to sleep in her own space, like her own little cot, so that I don't get nap trapped all the time, has been something that's it's like hard in the short term, but really beneficial in the long run. And when it comes to business, sometimes you have to make the hard choices in the short term so that you can have that success later. And the hard choices, in my opinion, are things like taking the time, and I mentioned this earlier, sitting down to make quality products, because it's easier sometimes to sit on social media and scroll through, stalking other people on Instagram. It's easier to make a quick, rushed product that's not that great. It's not your best work. It's easier to get distracted by marketing and pottering around on Pinterest or whatever. And sometimes it's hard. The hard thing is to sit there and commit to starting a product, making a really good product, and finishing a product. Those are things that are genuinely hard sometimes. We just let them drag on. We let products sit on our computer and we never upload them. Or we know we want to make this unit and we just never get around to starting it. Or, like I said about rushing products, we just don't take the time to make that big curriculum or the big hard product that ultimately will make you more money and be worth it. Sometimes you've just got to do that hard thing. Make the hard choice now when it comes to products. All right, number 14, we're nearly done. Routines and systems and things will make things easier. So Lily has a little nighttime routine, for when we go to bed, and she gets her little PJs on and she gets fed, and we have the sound machine and things like that. And there's like a little routine that cues babies to get them to sleep. Well, in your business, routines and having systems and things in place is impactful as well. And it's so important for you to make sure that you have routines in the way you operate things, because if you do things in a kind of haphazard, random way, you don't really have systems and processes in your business, it just feels like chaos. It feels like you sit at your computer, you don't know what you're doing that day, you're randomly starting one thing, you don't really have an order in which you do things. It's just like a hot mess. So try to be as organized as you can in your business. I know that's quite a generic one that could apply to any area, but being organized is always best. Number 15, the last one. Learn from others who have already done it or who are currently going through it. So whether you are in like a parent Facebook group, or you join like a forum, or you talk to family members that have children, as a parent, you learn from other parents and they teach you things and, make parenting easier for you. And in the TPT world, that happens in TPT Facebook groups and on the TPT forum and in masterminds and, in group chats on social media with other sellers and things like that. So take the opportunity to learn from other people, because they have done it before. They've made the mistakes already, and that way you don't have to make them. Why sit there trying to figure out how to work PowerPoint when there's 100 other sellers out there that already know how to do it, that can tell you what to do? Learn from other people. They've done it all before and they have so much wisdom to share. So my Facebook group, the Terrific Teacherpreneur, is a really great place. I think some people are probably really shy and think they don't want to look stupid, but there is no such thing as a stupid question. Everybody starts somewhere. It doesn't matter how basic it is. Ask the question, because you'll be grateful when someone answers it. Worst case scenario, maybe someone doesn't know the answer or you don't get that many replies, but that's not the end of the world. Best case scenario, you get an answer to your question and someone supports you and helps you and makes your business grow. How great is that? So yeah, join some Facebook groups, go on the forum, whatever it is, learn from other people. I cannot believe that I actually got through a podcast without interruption. Pretty exciting. And it's actually quite a lengthy one. I elaborated a bit more than I thought I would, but I'm sure you appreciate it. So those are the 15 tips I have for you that I have learned from having a newborn, and that I really think have kind of given me food for thought when it comes to running a business. I really hope some of those things resonated with you and helped you. I'm going to wrap this episode up. I don't want to test my luck any longer. My little call to action for you, maybe just think about one of the things I talked about today and apply it. I mean, there are 15 of them. You don't have to apply all of them, but you could certainly think of one or two and put them into practice. One off the top of my head that I can think of is probably just make the most of Facebook groups, because I mentioned that a few times about how you can learn from other people. So if you aren't in any Facebook groups, maybe go and join some. If you are in some, just be brave enough to ask a question. The Terrific Teacherpreneur is mine, and I'll put a link in the show notes. But learn from others. It's pretty powerful stuff. I hope that you have a terrific day.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Terrific Teacherpreneur. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate that effort. Come back for more actionable tips and helpful wisdom in the next episode with your host, Alex. Until then.